You guys try moving like this and see what it does for you. It'll wear you out pretty darn quick. Alright guys, I'm going to do something I don't do a lot of, but which I should do a little bit of and show you some elementary stuff. You have to have a battle plan and a tactic. I'm not using I hope the sound comes through. I'm just telling y'all I don't have a microphone on. Hope the sound's coming through. But you got to have a good battle plan, and you have to have a set thing of tactics that you can do in the ring. Those are two things. And the third thing, you got to have a backup plan or somebody in your corner that can see and tell you what to do as the boxer to make adjustments as you're going along. And that's very important to grasp little things a little bit at a time as you're learning and progressing up through the food chain in this. I'm gonna show you something old school that I seen a guy talking about earlier today. He's an old school guy. He trained with Joe Frazier and has trained a lot of people over, I guess, since the 60s as well, and maybe even the mid or early 60s. This guy's got some age on him, and worked in Frazier's gym and with Frazier as he was a champion and getting to a championship. And all these things are old school. And he showed something that I hadn't been teaching Joe, but I'm going to show you right now. All right, what do we always talk about? A drop. If somebody drops the left, what do you do? All right, so we tell you keep these hands up. All right, now I'm going to throw something else at you. Now, so a drop left equals a what? A right. Some kind of right, right? All right. So maybe I drop this thing to get you to come out and lead with that right. And I do that. But I'm going to show you something that Jack Dempsey would do, and he would do it very, very well. And we're going to start practicing this too. If you've got the distance there and that guy believes he can get that jab out to you and catch you, you're going to be okay. You don't even have to have the step in. But you know how a lot of guys, especially if you don't have, you're trying to increase the power, and there's a lot of ways to increase power. I believe that it's natural and you can build upon it, and you either have it or you don't, but you can make it, and there's different ways to do that. So if I'm coming here and I'm gonna, so I'm going around the block to get back to the thing, but maybe I jump out, I step out, I'm not jumping, but I step, and as that foot's hitting, I got all this on my front foot, and bam, I crack it. And that makes a stronger punch, right? You're gonna do this, but of course, come at me slow. I'm gonna bam, come out with the left. Bam, bam. Yeah.
You come out with the left.
Yeah, you come out with your, or you can, here we're gonna go back again. That's another way of doing it. I've dropped my left, so you're gonna lead out with your right to clock me. That's what we always do, right? All right. If you drop your left on us, you're gonna get in some trouble, trust me. You doing this, and it ain't gonna work out too well for you if you get in this striking distance of us. But let me show, and this is how men do. It takes a couple of more minutes, but listen to us all guys. See, you're gonna come out with the jab. I've lowered this, right? And I'm gonna try to get you to come out. So, and I'm gonna step in. So I'm stepping in with the lead foot here in orthodox style, yeah, of course my left foot is going to be to the lead and I'm going to be back here with this right? But I'm still, when he comes out with that left, I'm going to go down and I'm going to come clocking here. And when you come down and you clock, you need to be aware of what's going on up here. So you need to be looking up this way, and I'll show you what you can do. You go bam. Joe always, he'll pull down like this more often to his right, but even if he comes in and this guy's coming down like this, you're just going to do that. You're just going to parry the punch. You don't have to do much to it. Just after you come in, bam, and you can even block it this way, and you can get down and get out to the preferable, fastest method that you incorporate with the style that you use. And I'll say again, there's a million ways to skin a cat. Also, now we do this naturally. If somebody comes out with a right cross, or if it's a lefty, get an unorthodox style. All right, so this is all right. Yeah, all right. So you are going. Well, no, get back in orthodox style. We're just going to teach you. Now you're going to jab at me, right? And I got my hands up. We're going to go down, and you always have to watch for this hand, right? And you want to pull to your left and get out. So if he comes down, bam! And you always, if you got a guy that's got an excellent jab, you can literally go to the body if you've got decent striking capabilities, punching capabilities, whatever you want to call it. And you can neutralize him and get him to where he won't try to eat you up with that jab. So when somebody's throwing a jab, you got to neutralize that jab and make them pay for it. And that is old school. So I figured I'd just show a little bit of something there. I go around the block 10 times when I really only need to go halfway around the block. But put all this together and think about what I just showed you, because this stuff is tried and true. It's worked since time immemorial, and Jack Dempsey would literally eat a person up when they'd throw a punch, and then that would make him be able to be more aggressive, and hence knocking out 6'6", 6'7" giants with nothing but ferocity, tamed and packaged good, and going after and getting on the guy. So there's many, many ways to do that, but you've got to get to a point that you're getting, beyond drills or whatever you're doing, and you got to get the thinking cap on. And if you got a good trainer with you or trainers, you'll figure out how to put the package together. But that's what you got to always be working on, is packages and adjustments to the packages that you come up with, because you got to have a good plan, folks, and remember that. And that'll give you great ring generalship, and that's half the battle right there, if not the majority of the battle. So all right, we're going to move on to some other things, but I just thought I'd talk about those couple of little things there. All right, guys. Joe's going to do some push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. I'll try to get the camera placed where you can see him better. I don't know how much he's going to do. We've been doing a lot of tactical stuff today. One or two of the little things I put up, which should be preceding this video, and from time to time I'll put some type of stuff up. But we worked out, we've been here at the house today for two reasons. Number one, we don't like getting bothered by people, and number two, we can get more done here when we're doing tactical things and strategy work and stuff like that. So but we're always Joe's going to be doing physical stuff as well. So he's done a lot of reflex bag work, some tactical stuff, going through different scenarios. With Joe moving, me not really moving because I can't move no more. And you see Rocky in the background. Rocky likes us to be here and not leave him. And but he gets a little worried with Joe. When Joe's working out, he gets like, oh, he's hurting, he's not feeling good, and Rocky will try to lick him to death. So on the story I'll give you today, we had the kid come up to the gym. He's not a kid, he's 27, 28 years old. Kid that Joe gave a literally just jabbed him in the face, and he had a fit, and he didn't want to wear his headgear, and then wanted to put it on. Then started threatening Joe. If I accidentally hit you hard and you hit me harder, because that's the deal we go by. Joe goes by, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you a little harder. And it always gives the other guy the option to step it up. Now, sometimes you'll throw a shot, it's just an instant reaction, and you don't mean to, and you just clear it and check it with your sparring partner as you go ahead, and you bump gloves and continue. Adults can do that. Young men can do that, but Indians can't do that sort of thing. It's too much for them. They just can't seem to do it. And when I say that, I'm speaking specifically of the ones. Hell, we now know why Roberto Duran got so good, because every time he'd go to spar with somebody till he arrived to a world championship, it was a dog fight, because these people can't gauge themselves. We're just going off of what's happened to us throughout the country down here and with these folks and all that. So this kid, it's the third video I'm talking about it, but he told Joe if Joe hit him hard, he told Joe, we gonna have a problem. And Joe Joe did the right thing. He said, Dad, he just right in front of him, he said, I'm not sparring you no more. And he looked over at me and said, Dad, I'm not sparring him no more. And we've got it on video. If you go look up sparring gone wrong, it's on there. So anyway, shortly after that, he's telling us, oh, if you hit me, you're going to be held liable, like court processes, going to take you to court. So I went ballistic. I even went ballistic before he said that, because, excuse me, I'm sitting over here dipping as normal. So if you hear some strange noises, that's what's happening. But Joe is, this kid, he's 27, 28 years old. I think he said he was 27. Now he's well built, strong as hell, full grown man. And he comes up, will you please teach boxing, please let me train with you guys. And I tell this guy, I say, well, think about it for about a week, and if you're going to have to get gloves, you're going to have to get wraps, and I go through this process. I tell everybody, and I tell them how serious it is, and you got to be careful, and you need a mouth guard, and all these general things. I'll provide the headgear, and I'll provide a groin protection if you need it, and whatnot. So next day, the kid comes, he shows me some gloves he's got. He got them that day. And when I say kid, he's a grown man again. And I'm like, well, I think this is going to work. Well, a week later, I start letting him train some with Joe. And I'm doing this free for this guy. And I tell him the trade-off I'm going to get is I'm going to get you up to snuff where you can spar Joe some, and that'll be the trade-off. Which you're going to spar anyway. It's boxing. So anyways, he started off pretty good. And we had 1 or 2 spars with him till we had the incident this past Friday. And of course we have to stop every time Joe hits him. He's got to stop. Joe has bloodied his nose frequently. And Joe's not hitting hard, and Joe's moving very, very slow to accommodate him and all that. And it's very awkward. And then I'm stopping the process, trying to maybe even slow Joe down more, get him to hit less hard to the guy, and cleaning up bloody noses, bloody lips, or whatever. And it's just very difficult. And so the guy keeps charging in and wanting to fight on the inside with Joe, and he keeps getting tags coming in and whatnot, and keeps upping it with Joe. And Joe, of course, like I said, the way we do it is if Joe gets hit, he's going to hit the guy back a little harder. And that's how you auto-correct the sparring session anyway. And again, you'll have mistakes. You'll tag somebody a little harder than you want, and you bump gloves and keep going. And these people cannot do that. They cannot grasp it, and they can't do it. And really, this is why they don't win championships. And to give you an example, you have a Cuban Latino. They got 6 or 7 million people in Cuba, and they can really put out and produce champions, and other Latin American nations can as well. This country's got over 50 million people right now and can't produce a rarity to have a top 10 fighter in any given weight category, although they do have them some, and up at the coast they do. They produce some good fighters. But they always wear down in fights, and I mean, that's a typical thing here. And so it's just always something, and we've been all over the country, and it's worse in some areas, a little better in some areas, but it's all a crock pot of crap and kind of ridiculous. But we go through and we try anyway. But when you start threatening us with court or we gonna have a problem, and that's why I go ballistic on that other video. And I was debating on whether to put it up or not, and I did put it up, so it's on there. I believe that the title of it will be Sparring Gone Wrong. If you want to go watch it, fast forward through all my explanation about it and get to the point where there's actually maybe 1 minute in total of sparring. But this is not a sport for the timid. It's not a sport for the effeminately emotional. You got to keep your wits about you. Your temper can help you if it's controlled. Your negative emotions can help you if they're controlled.
I was not really paying attention, but he came back and wasted.
Oh, yeah, well, he came back yesterday, folks, and that's what Joe was just telling me. He said, I'm not really paying out a lot. I'm working here, Dad, but did you tell him he came back? Well, he came in about 5 or 5:30 yesterday and said, well, I'm ready to train. And I was like, oh, you ain't. What do you mean you ready to train? And I'm like, after that shit you pulled Friday, you think you're going to come back in here and train with me? You know, or Joe? And I was like, no, this ain't happening. And I had to literally go, A, you did this. B, you did that. C, you said this. D, you said that. You know, E, we have to stop every 5 seconds. Just a whole list of things. And finally, I guess he got it and he understood. And the jiu-jitsu guy was training him, and the jiu-jitsu guy's like, well, he's not really letting me get the holds on him right because he keeps trying to defend against the hold before I can even show him what the holds are. So I mentioned that to him, and he's like, oh, he said something. I was like, oh, man, you need to really get a hold of yourself because you're going to be doing about 0 to nobody. And that's the way this is going to work out for you. And he went on downstairs and started doing something else. I told him, I said, everybody in this damn gym is not holding a high opinion of you or anything of the nature. And these people, you cannot shame them. They cannot be shamed. And then he starts telling Joe that, or inferring that it's him, that Joe can't take his punches. And oh my God, I came 10 seconds from cracking this guy myself yesterday. And I said, we're going to do a cool off period. And normally on Thursdays we were working here at the house, but that's changed with the scheduling that we've been having recently. But I told Joe we're going to do some technical stuff here and be unclustered or bothered by anyone and proceed with what we got going on. Because we got, sometimes 3 or 4 girls will come up. They'll be standing around giggling and watching Joe, or it'll be 3 or 4 guys, or maybe 2 or 3 girls, 4 or 5 guys. Everybody's sitting around watching him and everything he does constantly. And it just, it's almost like a public workout before a prize fight. And it's real bothersome. And we got people to come up, oh, how do you do this? Oh, how do you do that? And it just,
Start paying you for these.
Yeah, they should just be paying us to watch. You're right about that, son. So I just said we're going to take one more day here at the house this week and do some tactical stuff. And Joe did a lot of reflex bag work, and we're just going through the motions here while we're still working. And we're trying to get back to more body weight work anyway. But you guys are still going to see us doing some weighted work. And that's because we did this work back in the day. There were basically, now I'm saying basically, up until probably at some point in the 80s, there were 2 philosophies, and there were guys that did barbell military presses and squats and some different things, and some dumbbell work. And there were another philosophy where you didn't do nothing but body weight calisthenics type work. And those were the 2, and it's probably similar today, but the difference between today and decades is we understood that there were different philosophies, and that no one philosophy was totally dead on correct. And today you've got headstrong people that maybe they go down to the gym in Houston or Montreal or Los Angeles, wherever, Detroit, and they think the way I've been taught is the only way, and there's no flexibility to that, and you cannot do that way. And I've had some guys, they come in, immediately, you're going to have to do some weight training. And some guys come in and I'm like, don't pick a weight up. So it's just depending upon the person and, you know, what they're going to be needing, because if you can find a balance between several philosophies, it's probably where you should be at. So the philosophy is, don't be so headstrong. And I'm about the last person in the world, you're probably all sitting back laughing with that statement. But it's always a problem. We've knocked a couple of teeth out. I've paid for one tooth that got knocked out, and Joe skated right through this. When's the last time you got a bloody lip? It's about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Maybe it's just a slight little bloody lip.
It wasn't really caused from boxing. It was my braces. No, I had no.
That's right. You're so true, because you had braces in. And, you know, I always go back to telling people this, and I tell all these guys this. I'm like, hold on a minute here. I'm not picking on you. I'm not, this ain't, you know, my son beat you up deal. This is not what I'm driving at. And I tell these guys, you know, I put my own son 3 times a week was sparring with a professional fighter. And Joe got beat up for damn near 2 months. It was a little under or a little over 2 months. And I had to make sure, was he going to be able to hold up to this? Did he really want to love to do it? Because this is a serious deal to get yourself into. So, but of course it goes in one ear and out the other, and we know it'll be better in the U.S. because people will have more than 2 brain cells to rub together, and they'll have an IQ of 70 or better, and they'll be able to understand. And around here, what was the average IQ of the nation?
80 something.
Like 80 something.
Yeah.
So the IQ's real low.
I think
and there is something to race and culture. I'm not so sure it's race that does it, but I'm sure it plays a part into it. But culture damn sure plays a part into it. And if you're not going to educate your culture, and you're going to have a bent and twisted culture with craziness and backwardsness, you're going to have a backward, low IQ people. If you've got morality, ethicalness, education, and in your culture, acting like you got some sense, giving peace to others, wanting peace from others, you're going to have a higher IQ. What you got, son?
These sit-ups, 120 push-ups.
I'd carry myself on up to 100 to 200, 200 or 250. So this is what we call easy work here. Very easy work. And even if you're doing a lot of calisthenics, if you're doing like a boatload of push-ups, let's say you do, I'm going to give an example, 400 or 500 push-ups, and you got like a major push-up day. Joe's done 1,000 push-ups in an hour before. So if you have you're doing something real heavy like that, or you're doing some weighted work with weights, everything preceding in the beginning needs to be all your big moving around and your big cardio stuff. So now if you go into the gym and you're doing some push-ups, sit-ups, different types of things, maybe some squats, I don't know, just whatever your gym has you doing, and you do those things, and then you go in and you can do some bag work and different things, sparring and such. But if you're doing the heavy work where you're getting a real big pump, you don't want to, you want that to settle there and naturally dissipate, because you don't want to get the cardio up at the end after you've done work with, especially with weights or extreme calisthenic type work, such as push-ups or pull-ups and things like that. If you go really, really heavy on those things, even just with your body weight, you don't want to even do like jump rope as a cool down. So even with this, when we get done with this, because we're at the end here, we start doing stuff like this, or strength and conditioning work. We always do these things at the very end of a workout, and then we'll walk a cool down. So we'll go across to the parks, which is across the road here, and we'll take Rocky out there, and Joe will walk around some out there and get a good, decent cool down. But you never want to, like you're doing military presses or squats or weight work with dumbbells for your shoulders or whatever you're doing like that, and then go to a jump rope and get all that blood going throughout your body. You want to do that in a reverse. And that's very, very important. And it's good, it's hard when you're in a bigger gym, but you have to, and if you're not getting this, just go to whoever's training you and tell them, I want to come up with some more tactics, because you're going to need a good tactical war chest to go to war. And so you need to be coming up with scenarios, what am I going to do if this happens, and whatnot. What am I going to do if I think I got somebody hurt? It's the end of this or the beginning of the second round, and I've punched myself out. How am I going to proceed there? I'm wearing myself down. And you can actually reverse that and get your own butt knocked out. So you got to come up with, be asking questions. And hopefully you got some people around you that if they don't have an answer for you right at the moment, they'll come up with one. And maybe give you a plan A and B in different scenarios like that. See, we got away from doing, and I'll tell you why. It's because of the style that Joe uses, and we started focusing on the back a whole lot. And those of you that's been watching the channel, you know Joe was suffering from some back issues. We got them licked now. If Joe's back hurting, it's just some pain, but it's nothing from pulling anything or any spinal issues or nerve issues or anything like that. Knock on some wood. But we have really been lacking on doing core work here for a good while. And we'll get on it, and then we'll hop off for some days. And Joe went about 10 days. Maybe we hardly did any sit-ups. So you pay for it, and you get your body so tuned to doing all these things. If you lack in one area, then it'll blast you. And we're changing things up some. Like yesterday, Joe was doing a series of barbell and dumbbell work for his back. I took shrugs out of there, which normally we do shrugs every day, some type of shrug work. That's a core thing we do. And yesterday we inserted push-ups, which he does daily, but we inserted them into the supersets that we were doing yesterday. So you need to be changing some stuff up, and but you need to keep things that you enjoy in with these workouts that you do too. You always have to have some things that you enjoy in there. But right now we've spent a good bit of time earlier on what are we going to counter, drawing somebody into doing a specific thing, and when they do it, then you strike and counter what you draw them into. And that's boxing right there. That's when as you're starting to progress in this thing, you try to draw somebody out and try to not be drawn out yourself to the other guy. So, and this is a big reason why the core aspect of what I do with Joe is for a very, very durable body from your neck down, because sometimes you get outwitted. You can have great ring generalship and IQ, and you better think again. You're going to be outwitted, and at some moment in time, and when you get outwitted, you got to get through it. The Rocky Marciano got half his nose took off. His nose is dangling on the front of his face, and he got through these things. Sometimes he got hurt to the body, a cracked rib, and he had the durability, see. And so that's a core reason behind some of the beliefs we have. What you got, son?
I got 150 push-ups, 140 squats, 110 sit-ups.
All right, good job. All right. What'd you say? 150. So you do the 50 more on the two things, and wherever you settle with the other, just settle with it. So get to 200, 200, and then whatever you got in the other thing, in the sit-ups. So he's not killing himself here. He's just going through, and so this is an easy day. It's more of a thinking day, but you got to be doing some work on top of the strategical stuff or drilling stuff that you do. And of course, now if you weigh 115 pounds, you should be able to get yourself built up to outdoing a lot of these numbers that somebody that's 200 pounds, you know, because they got a lot more weight to be lifting, a lot more sit to be upping, and a lot more squat to be pushing. And if you're a little guy, you should be able to pump out some bigger numbers. And we hear it all, these squats he's doing. You know, I get things like, well, the back of his butt needs to be touching his ankles. And I even had one guy say it needs to be touching the floor. His butt needs to be touching the floor in a squat. And I'm like, I don't know where people come up with this stuff at. We go in and technique to what we use. And we don't, if our butt goes down and touches the floor, guess what? That's a standing 8 count. So we don't do that. And we literally get comments like that. And I just get rid of the comments. I don't know, maybe I should leave a lot of them up, but I don't have the mentality to take a lot of stupidity. And most of them, in all honesty, probably 95% of them are in Spanish, because you got a low IQ person. Joe put his growing protector on. We're up there, and he's like, I'm going to wear this while I'm doing heavy bag work. I need to keep this thing on and have it become second nature to me. And he's up there hitting the bag, and this guy's on there, only girls should be wearing those. And it was a Latino, And I look at that, and you go over there and because if you're going to put a comment down, you can go look at them. And you go look, and it's a gamer, or maybe it's somebody that's doing this themselves. And you go look over there, and you're like, oh my gosh, they can't do 25 push-ups. They can't, they're hitting like a woman, a scorned woman slapping a man. And you're like, oh my gosh, and I just don't have the patience for that. You younger people, you've grew up in an online world where people are very comfortable offending others without running the risk of getting their head knocked off their damn shoulders, and without having to run the risk of actually being a real man. And I haven't grew up in a world like that. And to be honest with you, our schools were safer. We were some hellions back in my day. And we were stronger, meaner, and tougher. And you didn't, if a boy pulled a knife out at school, that boy would get, if he didn't get caught and just pulled a knife out on another guy, they'd get called every name in the book. They ain't man enough to fight. They're not man enough to take a whooping. And this world's just changed so much today. And especially with, it's a shame. You say, oh, this old white guy, he's racist. You say anything you want. I don't care what you're thinking. And God's give us the ability to be able to independently think and make decisions on our own. But I will tell you this, something is bad wrong in the United States when most of the world belt holders and world champions and regional champions were African Americans, and now you can't even get an African American that can fight. And it's this effeminate behavior. It's African Americans being raised by, I'm going to be ugly and say it, a bunch of fat women that don't work, that lay around the house, has 3 or 4 different baby daddies, and don't have a daddy one in the house. And these boys are growing up effeminate. They act tough. There's a form of toughness about them, but it's not real toughness. They're just highly emotional loudmouths today. Just highly emotional loudmouths. And that's hitting every race in the United States. It's hitting all of Western culture. All of Western culture. And we damn well going to be sitting around here, and all the champions are going to be Chinese and Middle East people, or Polish people that don't ascribe to the BS that we raise our kids with. I remember coming home, I was getting really getting a 1-2 from me from a kid, and I went home and I was griping about it. And then I went home second day and griped about it. And my mother and one of my big sisters, they both told me, we are going to beat the hell out of you tomorrow if you get off that school bus and you're not either really marked up, taking a big ass whooping, or you haven't beat the hell out of this guy. And I went to school and I beat the hell out of the guy. And that was the catalyst to get me into boxing and things that I did. And it wasn't a need of going in there because I didn't want to get beat up no more. I went in there because I found out I could do it. And today now, you need bullies. If that kid wasn't bullying me, I never would have toughened up. It's a natural pecking order. And all that's being lost. And it's because you have effeminate ran households. And even the men, in a lot of the places where the men are in the house, they're dum-dums and silly and joking all the time, and you got a woman in the house ruling the roost, and I don't play that shit. How about, you done? All right, we're at the end. I want to tell you, Christ is King, Lord, and Savior up in this house, and we hope He is where you are. And if He's not, we hope He soon will be. And we want you guys to know we love you. And we hope you have a great week and an upcoming weekend. We'll have another video out tomorrow. And we'll be back in the gym, Lord willing, tomorrow. And get Joe back on the heavy bag. We did reflex bag today so we can work here at the house. And just want everybody to know we love you. Keep working hard. The spoils and the victory goes to the men that are working the hardest and thinking the smartest. So be thinking and working. Outthink and outwork everybody. And you won't lose.